Okay, so Isekai Quartet needs to stop spoiling me. First, they introduced the shield hero, and yeah, for the first half, was he utilized all that great? No, but it's nice to say that he now has a really relevant role, of him and his party included. So seeing our boy and our girl, Seiya and Rista, already confirmed to be a part of the show, and they didn't want to participate because Seiya was being overly cautious, not wanting to go in. I am so excited for Season 3. This is going to be glorious, because even if their entire role is just Seiya not wanting to participate in situations, then somehow getting roped in every so often, like having to fight the Destroyer or something like that, and how our goddess would pretty much just be the most bubbly and personal character from their series, that will be glorious. Seeing them, not just like a little shadow in the distance buying food, but literally seeing their backs on. I was gonna be fine with just that alone. I'd be like, okay, yeah, they're clearly saying we're getting some cautious hero. But the fact that we already had spoken words from them just makes me excited. Holy shit, am I excited. Had this been, like, if this reveal would have happened, say, in the first 6 episodes, like something like this, I would still be excited, but I would be more on the side of saying, I wonder if they can really be utilized all that well when characters like the Shield Hero and company haven't been done all that well, or at least to the same level that I think they can. But honestly, seeing how it just kind of takes time to get the ball moving, figuring out what to do with the characters, and because we have such a wide variety of characters, we can literally have episodes upon episodes focusing in on any mixing and matching of the cast, and since the Shield Hero didn't join the main classroom, it makes more sense that we only bump into them when they're in the hallways or they're at a school event, things like that. So I'm perfectly fine if they want to keep introducing more and more isekais and just put them in different classrooms that we bump into a few times throughout a season. And I mean, the cautious hero of all series probably had some of the most reasons to not be all that relevant in the show, besides every handful of episodes, give or take, so I am definitely excited. But I have to say, what they're doing with episode 11 and obviously episode 12 next week is probably the best way to go out this season. The Destroyer, I feel like, is going to be a pretty relevant thing probably for every Isekai Quartet season, unless they somehow destroy it for good this time around. But I do like the idea of like an ongoing gag. If this was like a super serious show, that would be very boring because it's just the same thing time and time again. But a lot of good comedy series, they have like an ongoing gag where even though you know what's going to happen, it just keeps popping up and there's a slight alteration to it. And honestly, based on the 2 seasons of Isekai Quartet, they're definitely doing it in a tad different of a way. And I like how this time around, clearly it's not like the school willingly doing this as a test, but seemingly there's some things I guess we gotta save a world in isekai fashion that we just didn't realize. So that's gonna be pretty fun to see what they're gonna do with that, especially because we're not relying on the main core group that we thought would handle it, because they have to go put on a play, and because this is Isekai Quartet, that's just as important as destroying a giant monstrous mecha spider-looking creature. Because it's Isekai Quartet and putting on a play is just as important. So we're getting some girl power probably next week, but as Cosmos says, they should be fine as long as Aqua doesn't mess it up, which, Jesus Christ, the characters in this show just don't catch a break, but you never want them to at the same time. But honestly, as amazing as like the new additions to the cast have been, a lot of the funny one-liners, the thing that stuck out the most to me, and honestly, one of the aspects that have stuck out the most to me in this season of Isekai Quartet is how dirty they're doing our girl. Not only has we had a character have to sing karaoke by herself, eat by herself, she put on a play by herself. This poor girl is so alone, despite being so precious, but she puts on a play by herself. And even though outside eyes say, oh, that's really impressive, poor girl. That's all I can say, poor girl. But honestly, I was actually surprised with this episode with how much content we had. Obviously, they skipped the opening, so it lent itself to feel a lot more meaty and substance. I mean, had they cut the ending song too, I can just imagine how much more ridiculous shenanigans we could see. But just from like the simple like seeing what their festival is from like, you know, weight competitions and things like that. I mean, right off the bat, you kick off the episode with more, even though it's a slideshow, we have like Shield Hero content. So you know you're getting into a good episode when they're mixing and matching the cast right off the get-go. But I just love seeing just the ridiculousness of when you think about shows, especially if you've watched series like The Shield Hero. You would never expect Naofumi to wear the costume that he was wearing in this show. And had he ever done that in The Shield Hero, you know damn well Raftalia Philo would be melting in cuteness because they would think it's so adorable. Their hot-headed leader is just that ridiculous. Holy shit, I never knew I wanted to see that, but it was pretty glorious. Especially because it wasn't even just like one character got the short end of the stick, like literally all the main characters for the most part are either dressed up as a horse, which Ainz has to say, don't look above me, just kind of look down below because he's kind of ashamed, or the shield hero ReZero casts as birds. Like, that was hilarious. It really was. Honestly, I go as far to say just the characters dressed up for their play is one of like the top 5 moments of this season of Isekai Quartet. It's pretty damn glorious. Like, holy shit. You just want to see characters who are either super serious or have had like a really shitty life in their original series just thrown into a situation that they want to rebel against, and it's just completely amazing. Especially because there's so many times characters have basically like this meta commentary as if they're basically being pulled away as if they're the viewer watching, and they're just saying this is just so surreal, because it absolutely is. When would you ever expect to see a character like Ainz or a character like Naofumi dressed up like that at a school, where the important thing for them is to not fight a monster, but to go perform a play? My god, is that amazing. But I mean, the fact that we can still write situations where you can have characters like Tanya and Ainz manipulate a very simple soul like Megumin, who is the one who created the play, and because we have our girl basically kind of gonna have to fight the monster, we need someone to take her place. So I love how they basically just call her stupid. She won't be able to memorize a line. She's worthless. It's such an easy thing to do, but I love how these characters, even though they haven't been a part of their original series, because they spent enough time together, they're basically manipulating a situation the same way someone like Cosmo would from Konosuba. I just love that. I mean, even though you would never think that someone like a military soldier like Tanya, or just an absolute lord and ruler like Ainz, would be able to navigate a social situation like that, because there'd be no purpose to that. It'd be more conflict or just ruling his kingdom. I love how it just feels so perfect and in character despite being completely out of character, because this situation should never happen. But I mean, I thought last week either they're going to go with we're going to see the play and then go with the destroyer, or we're going to fight the destroyer and then go with the play. But the fact that we're doing both at the same time honestly feels a lot more natural, as if there really is a giant monster walking around, it shouldn't be waiting. It's clearly there to ruin the basically festival for everyone. So it's nice how they're basically splitting their forces. And honestly, I think the thing I'm most excited about next week, as amazing as the plays are going to be, I know they're going to be amazing. I'm interested to see what this squad is going to be able to do. If Aqua will ruin everything, or if Aqua will actually be super valuable and will be the reason the destroyer gets destroyed, but then will be basically discredited as if she was the most useless one. Because you know something like that's going to happen, especially if Cosmo has anything to say about it. Honestly, Isekai Quartet has been one of the highlights every single week of the winter 2020 season. Even if you're not laughing at it, you can just sit back, and this is at least how I watch Isekai Quartet. When I'm not rolling, I just sit back, and every time a character speaks, I think of their series, and I just think of what I know about them and now what I'm seeing on screen, and just that contrast, it's hilarious in itself. They don't even need to be funny with their actual dialogue. It's just hilarious to watch basic situations play out, thinking about where they came from and now where they're at. But I mean, I definitely love how this entire show has been a reverse isekai, where you take isekai characters and put them back in a seemingly normal world, but now we're giving a story hook that's basically like, yeah, we still gotta save a world because this is an isekai and we can't avoid that, am I right? The show is great, it's definitely entertaining, and I mean, after last week having my favorite Isekai Quartet moment mirroring and parodying my favorite ReZero moment, definitely had a lot to live up to, but honestly, this episode did not disappoint in the slightest. Thinking though about the Cautious Hero, I am curious if there's going to be anything else with them this season, because we have one episode to go. They've already revealed that he's a part of the cast. And I like how you don't have to make it super dramatic, like you have to see like a portal open for them. Just, you know, there's going to be new students coming in. They're isekai characters, they're being isekai'd in an isekai, so it just totally makes sense. I'm curious to see like what the role will be, if there's going to be any relevance in this season, or just in the middle of season 3, you know, the Cautious Hero is just going to pop up and characters are going to be like, who's this dumbass? And you'll be like, see, we should have never trusted this place, it's full of demons, or something like that. There's just so many ways to just continue to introduce characters, and honestly, I think it'd be hilarious if, honestly, like, they've already said, like, okay, Cautious Hero's in this show. Season 3 comes around, right? Episode 4, it's like, oh, there's a new transfer student. And then they just show us a completely different isekai series. And then episode 9 of season 3, we finally get Cautious Hero content. That would be funny to me, because it'd make total sense that he's cautious and really doesn't want to interact with anyone. Just simple situations like that. It just writes itself in your head, or at least that's how I've always felt watching this show. It just feels like, honestly, anything that I would want, either they show it to me, I'm like, that's exactly how I thought the situation would go down, or I'm like, okay, has to be it. Like, they have to roll with this, and then I'm like, no, actually, that's way better. They clearly even know the source material better than myself. It's just great. This production committee that put this together and built a team to make this show, It feels so damn perfect, and I think is probably going to be the bar for a lot of studios that are trying to do crossovers in the future, because they are doing the series justice. They're doing it way too well. With as many series as it has, it should fail a lot more than it is, but this show is a damn masterpiece for what it's trying to be. As always though, let me know your thoughts and opinions on Isekai Quartet Season 2 down in the comment section below. What did you think of the cautious hero reveal, and what was your favorite moment in the episode? Whatever you're feeling, let me know. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't been new around here. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.